welcome to Grounded Barbie's University. So on this video, I am going to be teaching y'all how I do my watercolor method. I really do not color any of my wigs from scratch anymore. When I learned how to do watercolor, I use watercolor for everything. It's kind of depending on if it's like multicolors, then I will hand color it. But if it's like 1 to 2, maybe 3 colors, then I will watercolor it. So today we are gonna be doing a 2-color watercolor process, and I'm gonna be teaching y'all how to do it. These are the hair dyes that I like to use. Is Adore and Kiss. These are my favorite 2 type of hair dyes to use. And as well, you're gonna need a 613 blonde wig. You're gonna need Got To Be spray, and you're gonna need some gloves, and you're gonna need some bins to put your hot water in. So the first thing I do before I get my process going is I spray the Got To Be spray onto the lace, because it keeps the color from getting and staining the lace. So you're just gonna spray it all on the inside, all here. You're gonna spray it all on this part, the outside of the lace and the inside of the lace. And I would like to go and blow dry it. If you are in a rush or you want to go ahead and speed the process up, you can blow dry it for it to go ahead and dry, which is what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna go in and blow dry the part where I sprayed it Got To Be spray. And it doesn't take long, because y'all know Got To Be spray dries really fast. So it should be dry, stiff kinda, and that's how you want it to be. So the next thing I would do after I did that process is we're gonna get some hot water as well. But I'm gonna pin this on here because the way that these 2 colors are gonna go is this lighter green is gonna go towards the top, and this blue is gonna hit the middle, and then the lighter green is gonna go towards the bottom again. So we're gonna pin this down, and I like to section off the parts of the wig where I'm gonna be doing a 2-color step. Just stop with this. Okay, so what I did is I made a part down the middle because it's gonna be a middle part style. So what I did was tuck my hot comb and I flattened each side. You don't have to do a really major crazy press, just, you know, that's just how I like to section off my hair when I'm about to do color. So since I'm gonna do the blue in the middle, what I'm gonna do is add a rubber band at the part where the lighter green is gonna end. So the lighter green is gonna end right about here. So this is where I'm gonna put my rubber band. And we're gonna do the same thing to this side. It doesn't have to be perfectly even or whatever when I'm doing this part. It's just to make sure, you know, I got my sections together. So I have it sectioned off. The green is gonna be here, then it's gonna start the blue, and then it's gonna be green again at the ends. So let's go ahead and get us some fresh hot water into this bucket. Okay, so now that I got some hot water, I went and got this from the sink. I noticed that in the process of me doing watercolor over the process, I learned that you do not need scorching hot water boiling on the stove to get your colors done. This is hot water from the sink. So I'm gonna add my color into it just as long as the water is hot. It does have to be hot though. It doesn't have to be boiled onto the stove, but it do have to be hot. So I have 2 bottles of this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this whole bottle for the top of the wig because it's a lot of hair. So it's gonna need a lot of hair dye to be able to, especially with watercolor, because with watercolor it kind of like fades the color out a little bit. So you just want to be able to use at least about 1 to 2 bottles to make sure it's fully dyed. So what I'm doing right now is I'm stirring it, because when you pour it in there, it has all kind of color particles in there. You want to make sure you stir all of those out. And it kind of looks like jelly a little bit, like jello. You want to stir all of those out because you don't want to put your wig in there and then it have streaks in it because you didn't fully stir the color out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip the top part into the water. And like I said, the got to be spray is keeping it from staining the lace. So what I like to do is just dip it in and out a couple of times. Ooh, it's kind of hot. It is really hot. And I like to move the hair around in the water. I'm going to use this because it's kind of hot. After I keep dipping it in and out of the water, I like to move the hair around just to make sure that the color is getting all over the hair. And after this process, after you do the whole wig, color the whole wig, you can go back and, hand color parts that did not get colored into the water. But it's actually doing it, if you see. You see the steam coming from it? It's hot. Woo! So you just want to make sure you keep the other parts of it out of the water while you're doing this, so that those parts don't get colored. And like I said, just move the hair around in the water, take it out, put it back in there. As you see, the color is coming out of the water. That means that it's all going onto the hair. You see the water is getting lighter. It's all going onto the hair, which is a great thing. That's what you want it to do. And this is the easiest coloring way. This is the easiest way to color hair. Honestly, I love watercoloring. Okay, I'm just gonna add the rest of it in this water that's in here, because there's a few spots I see on the back of the wig that it did not get. So it's all gone, y'all. I'm gonna have to use the other bottle. It's all gone. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to use some of the other bottle, which is fine because the ends of the hair is not gonna need this whole bottle. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of this, not much, because we gotta save some for the ends of the hair. And again, we're gonna stir and get these color particles out of the water, because you want it to be smooth, no particles floating around in the water. Stir all of those particles out of the water. And then we're gonna do another dip. You see the back needs a little bit more color, so we're gonna put that part into the water first so that it can get the color first. There you go. It's coloring it. And just keep dipping it and taking it out, dipping it and taking it out, because that's how it also gets onto the hair as well. And make sure you move the hair around so that it gets all the way through and color every part of the hair. Don't be afraid to get your hands into it. If you want to wear gloves, you can, but actually when you're doing watercolor, it definitely will come off of your hands. And we're just gonna let that sit in there for just a few minutes. And I let it sit for probably like 2 minutes at the most. So we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you the next step. Okay, so now I went and emptied that water and I got fresh, new hot water. So we're gonna go use the blue that's gonna go in the middle of the wig. And we're gonna pour this inside the water. The reason I use 2 different brands is because sometimes I feel like Kiss doesn't have the colors that Adore has, and sometimes Adore doesn't have the colors that Kiss has. So I like to just use both. But they both are vibrant colors. See, this is a darker blue than the other one that I used. The other one is like greenish a little bit. But you remember I said that you're gonna go and you're gonna stir all of those color particles out. I'm gonna add a little bit more, but this is just for the middle of the wig, so yeah. Just for this next process, all I'm gonna do is take the rubber bands and pull them down to where I want the blue to stop. So we're gonna say right about here is where we want this darker blue to stop. So yeah, that's about the same. I think this one needs to come out just a little inch more. So these 2 spots are where the darker blue are gonna go, and we're just gonna dip those as well. So you got to hold this side and hold this in and then dip that part that's supposed to go in there. This is how you do a 2 to 3 color water method. And you want to move the hair around into the water so that you know that it is doing what it's supposed to do. Dip it a couple of times so that you know that it's getting the color it's supposed to have gave, and it is. It is. Yep, and then just, open the hair, move it around, make sure that it is coloring all the way through. You see a little bit of still blonde spots. Make sure you open the hair up and dip them parts into the water. This is where you're making sure every part of the hair is getting colored. And just dip that in and out of the water. And now we're gonna do the other side the same way we did that side. Just dip the part, dip it. And we're gonna add a little bit more dye into this water. Just a little bit more, so that we can make sure that we're getting the same color as we have on the other side. Because I think that it took a little bit of color out of the water. And we're gonna stir until all of the water, the reason why the water has to be hot, because if it's cold, it's hard for the color to stick. So if you're doing this process and your water starts to get cold, just go pour this out and get you some more hot water. And you just want to keep dipping it until the color is showing in the spot where you want it to show at. Just keep dipping it in there. You'll start seeing the color that you want. And like I said, move the hair around, open it, make sure you don't see any blind spots. If you do, make sure you open the hair where those blind spots are and dip that part into the water. Move the hair around so that you know that the dye is getting on all of the hair. If you need to zoom in on the video so that you can see what I'm doing. And just begin to do the dipping method again. Dipping, dipping, dipping. You want to get all of that dye out of the water onto the hair. Squeeze. And we're going to dip this side again. Because we want that dark blue in the middle. There we go. It's coming together. It's coming together. And just keep dipping. When you dip the wig in and out of the water, it actually grabs the color better, honestly. Okay. And you're just gonna check and make sure that you saturated it real good. Just make sure there's no blonde spots. It looks like we have it pretty good. You can also take and do it like this right here. But just make sure you don't get the ends dark blue, because we just want the middle part dark blue. Okay, so we're gonna empty this water and we're gonna go on to the next step. Okay, so now we are down to the ends of the wig, and we're just gonna repeat the same process that we did for the top of the wig. We're gonna do that for the bottom of the wig as well. Make sure that you put a lot of dye into the water. I'm gonna use the rest of this bottle for the ends. You can see my hands turn colors. That's why I said you can wear gloves if you want to, but I just been doing it so much, I don't really care to wear gloves. The color will be off my hands by tomorrow. So if you did it without gloves, the color will be off your hands by the next day. A way that you can get the color off is use Dawn dish detergent and baking soda, and wash your hands with that, and it'll get the color off. So this is the last step of this 2 to 3 color water method. So we're going to take the rubber bands off because this is the last part. So this lighter blue is going to go on the bottom of the wig, and you're just going to dip those ends in there like that. Just like that. You want to go up to catch the blue a little bit so that it looks like it's falling, that the colors are falling into each other. And we're gonna add a little bit more color to this water because it's trying not to hold. I might have to go in and hand color this one, the ends. And I'm gonna show y'all how to do that as well. If the color doesn't wanna hold, all you have to do is the spots that you miss, you just hand color those spots. And also you could just let the wig sit into the color for a little bit so that you know that it's coloring all of it. It's pretty color, pretty color. I'm just gonna let it sit into the water for a little bit so that it can catch the color for a while. And then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like. Oh, it can go ahead of that part. Okay, so as you can see, did you zoom in? As you can see, the end part didn't get much of the color. So I'm just gonna go in with my brush, just like this, and I'm just gonna color the ends of that so that it can get just a little bit more color onto it and through it. It dyed it, it did do it, but my water was getting cold, so it just needed a little bit more color to it. So that's what I'm doing here. I just needed a little bit more of that mermaid color towards the bottom. And I'm gonna add a little bit up to the top. The color is almost gone. But I'm just filling in the spots that look a little bit too light, that look like they didn't bleach. But sometimes with doing watercolor, you don't have to go back and do this part because it colors all the way through automatically. Dry for a little bit. And then I'm gonna come back and show y'all what it looks like dry. So this is what it's looking like so far. It didn't get any stain on the lace or the inside of the lace. So let's let it dry. How I let it dry is I lay it on my floor and I take and put the towel over it and I stick my blow dryer in the top of it like this. And I let it blow dry. So we're gonna let it blow dry and then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like when it's dry. So I just wanna say thank you for your love and support. And if you took this course, congratulations, because you are on your way to your next level in success in life. Congratulations, you should give yourself a pat on the back, okay? So this turned out really pretty. I wanna see y'all watercolors. After you took this course, I want to see your watercolors, okay? So I just want to say thank you so much for your love and support, for always supporting me. If you have always been here through the whole thing, thank you so much. And I just want to wish y'all a happy day, a good night, or whenever you're watching this video. Bye, y'all. Love you.